following podcast may contain some adult language. You've been warned.
Those of you who got an invite, welcome to Nerd Prom.
No matter where in the world you are, we're all nerds! International. With the hyphen.
Welcome to Finding the Narrative, a Genesys RPG podcast. This is a show dedicated to the Genesys role-playing system, created by Fantasy Flight Games, a show in which we, your hosts, discuss all things Genesys from both the player's and a GM's perspective. I'm Tony Fanning, and with me, as always, are my exemplary friends and co-hosts, Chris Holmes and Stefan Dragonspawn. How are we doing, fellas? Chris, Holmey.
Oh man, I'm doing good. Went golfing this morning. Started off the first few holes, I think I was going for high score, to be honest. I think I was still asleep. But, but it wasn't as fun without my wife there. But anyways, I got my money's worth, like I always do. So, I'm doing pretty good.
Excellent.
Pretty good. How about you, Stefan?
I'm doing pretty good. Things are moving around at work and so forth, blah, blah, blah. And I'm coming to you today for this recording remotely because of internet issues. I had to travel around and get some more powerful signal because my own home hamsters were way too...
They're a little bigger in the area where you're at?
Yeah. They actually use beavers. So
Our very own Les Nessman.
Yeah,
remotely.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
I could do like him from the helicopter.
Oh, turkey drop.
Yeah.
Yes, and that voice you hear in the background is our guest. We have this is our one of our founder focus shows. This is episode 57. Mm-hmm. We're going to be talking to Chris Markham. So, not to confuse everybody, we're going to refer to him as Chris, and we'll refer to our lovely co-host as Holmey throughout the whole thing. Hopefully, I'll probably fuck it up at least 9 times. So,
of course, why not? Why not? Well, hey, you know what? Let's get into this thing then. Shall we segue over to it? All right. All right. Well, we are in the People of Genesys segment of the show, where I'd like to introduce a second time Chris Markham. So, who are you, Chris? What's your elevator speech for yourself?
Well, let's see. Well, when you think of a gamer, that's pretty much me. I'm a fat old white guy with glasses and a goatee.
Perfect. That's great.
Pretty unique,
welcome to the crowd.
Yeah.
No, I'm the kind of geek that I like to go to conventions and cosplay and meet my favorite actors and just play games. And then I come home and I live on a small ranch and we have animals and a zoo, basically.
Nice.
Sweet, dude.
Which they're all being very quiet right now, which is good. But we just put the horses out for the night, so.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Awesome.
Well, good.
Very nice, yes.
Well, welcome to the show, man.
Yes, welcome.
Nice to be here.
Good. So, well, what would we like to do first? Let's just jump into it. You know what? Okay, so what role-playing game did you cut your little baby RPG teeth on?
Oh, definitely the very first incarnation of D&D.
Ooh.
When when you like played a class, like an elf was a class and a race.
Oh yeah, dude.
So
yeah, the white box.
That's
then.
what I cut my teeth on. Yeah, exactly.
So you played a man. You played a fighting man, right? Or you could.
No, my very first character was a cleric.
Sweet.
Oh.
Mine too. Father Roland. Long fucking time ago, man. When I was 13 in my buddy's basement.
And I had no idea what the heck I was doing because I was playing with some friends that knew a lot more than I did. And
awesome.
Then very shortly I kind of got the gist of it all, and it was just great. Then I moved. That was actually when I was overseas, and I moved, and I didn't play it again for like almost a decade. So.
Oh
wow.
But you were bitten anyway, so it just came back.
I still loved it. And it was great to find people who were into it. And by then, second edition was around, so we got into that. So that was great.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, so obviously you're a fan and a creator for Genesys, but I assume you play or GM. When did you first begin playing or GMing Genesys?
Genesys is different. I mean, I came into Genesys really because of the whole Terranoth world. I mean, we had played all kinds of different games, such as we started with Runebound. That was my first introduction to the setting. Then we played Descent, and we've done that for years. And I was actually planning out a campaign world of Terranoth way before I knew anything about Genesys or the book ever coming out. And the book I hadn't even heard of the book yet. And the campaign kind of got derailed for a little bit as far as us starting it. So I had a lot of months to just kind of world build, and I was starting my own campaign site. And then this book came out, and my wife got it for me. And I was like, oh my God, this is great. But then I started going through it. I'm like, it's missing so much stuff that I'm used to from the games, And I'm like, okay, well, so I started kind of making my own campaign site about it. And that's really where everything grew from there. Because it's like I wanted to write about Terranoth, but I had to do the Genesys system. So I had to learn it. And then once I started learning about it, I was like, oh, this is really pretty great. I mean, it's not a succeed, fail. It's just got a lot to it. It's like you can fail a roll but still do something spectacular, or you can succeed and still kind of screw things up. So it's kind of neat.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it's just really an interesting game system. So I've really had a lot of fun learning it and forcing it down my player's throat, even though they went into it a little bit hesitant, but they were playtesting it for me. We still, oddly enough, play a 3.5 campaign, but that's just because we started that campaign before this.
Cool.
But yeah, the next one started definitely be a Genesys campaign. So
cool.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Now, are you the GM for that then?
I am, yes. I mean, one other player has GM'd a lot, as far as for those campaigns, but it's been a while. So it's been a while since I get to be a player, but I've got a lot more time than others usually do, that I can work on this stuff. So it just makes sense for me to be the GM for a while.
Right.
Cool.
Cool. All right. So following that question, what or who inspired you to begin writing for the Foundry, and why?
Yeah, I mean, definitely it was just when the Foundry first came out, it was just a great idea. I was like, oh, I could actually fill in the gaps that I saw missing, from the book that I was used to, from the lore that I was aware of, from the games. Mm-hmm. And it was actually it was Darren West's Hadris Shard. I had gotten that, and I saw the way he kind of fleshed out Strangehaven, and I was thinking, wow, this is a cool way I can actually start to bring some of these things to life that are just there, mentioned in the text, and that's it, like a one sentence in the text, and it's like, oh, okay, I could take that and run with it. And I'm already doing that anyway for my campaign, so this way it's kind of a cool way to get it out there and share it with others. And I still put a lot of free stuff on my campaign site and such about the world of Terranoth, because that's really how it all started. But it's nice to kind of package things too for people, so it's not scattered all over my site.
Right.
Oh, cool. We'll have to get that. We'll have to have you give me that website, and we'll add it to the show notes. So, cool.
Yeah, because I'm not restricted from art there, so I can use art from all kinds of stuff. It's a private campaign, so
there you go.
That's it. To inspire yourself. Good.
Yeah, I'm really, as you can see, at least from my releases, if you've seen them, I'm really big on visuals. I like to have a visual for everything.
Yeah.
And I'm the same way in my campaign. I mean, I don't have, even if it was a bartender or a barmaid in a tavern that the PCs will never go to, I've probably got a picture of the barmaid in the paint because I'm just that insane about it. But
yeah,
it's awesome.
I think most of us are the same way. I mean, we're using Fantasy Grounds, and we have pictures, of NPCs if we can, or caverns or whatever, situation as much as possible to show the players. It's always good to have a bit of a visual.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah, and it keeps me on point too, because I have all the notes, and I have like notes for different voices of like what they are and things like that, so I can always be consistent.
See,
nice
voice GM.
GM.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah.
All right. Well, good. Well, so
voices and accents.
So the next question we have here is what advice would you give to folks who haven't, who want to contribute to the Genesys Foundry, whether it's a setting, an adventure, any advice you could give?
Well, the first thing is get my tips and tricks. I put it out there for free.
Okay.
It's basically just a bunch of things that I had to learn the hard way, and sometimes the links on everything, like the terms and conditions and all that stuff, really kind of not easy to find on drive-through. So it's just got a lot of helpful links and a lot of helpful things that you can do as a writer for drive-through that you may not be aware of or that aren't very intuitive when you're using the interface.
And that's up on the Foundry, isn't it? For free?
It is on the Foundry. It's a pay what you want. I.e. free.
Awesome.
I mean, pick it up. Yeah, I just made it kind of help everybody.
It's great that you put something like that together. That's awesome. That is awesome.
I just want to see more content, don't we all? I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. And whatever helps.
Anything I could do to make it easier. I was like, you know what? I kept giving this advice anyway. I'd have people message me and say, hey, you've got a lot of titles on there. How'd you do this, or how'd you do that, or where is this even at? And I was like, I keep answering all these people. It's like, I might as well just put something out.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that. I asked you, I think, a couple of questions. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, almost every couple of days I get an email about, hey, where's the terms and conditions at? I can't find them. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I bookmarked that awesome. Now, so.
Exactly.
Nice.
But the biggest advice, though, is just get it out there. I mean, if you have something that you're passionate about, it's probably not going to be perfect the first time. I mean, I look back to my first release and compare that to like the formatting of the newer releases, and I'm just like, oh, God. I mean, I'm even going back and redoing some of them as far as formatting goes, just because I don't like it when I look at it. So, I mean, content-wise, it's still. It's just the fact that the layout is like now it bugs me. So I need to go back and put the right backgrounds, the right fonts, and things like that.
And because it's a PDF that you're putting up there, right, and people are downloading it, you as the author can update it whenever you want. And then whoever bought it, whoever's got it, right, will just get the updates instead of having to wait for the second printing or third printing and go to the FGLS and get it. But it's pretty cool in an electronic age.
Yeah, and I'm a stickler too, because there's a field there where you can actually put. I mean, there's a default message. But there's a field where you can actually put like what you changed.
Oh, okay.
And I always am meticulous about putting that there so that if it's something you really need to download or not. Because if it's just like some typos and you're like, I don't really want to mess with downloading it again, you're fine. If it's something like a change, I definitely want to point that out. So
cool. Appreciate that. That's awesome.
Very nice. Yep. Very nice.
Well, so you mentioned that you play with a group and you do other games as well, D&D 3.5. But how often do you get to play, or GM, or so on and so forth?
Right. So we kind of play as a group. We get together for other games and stuff too. It's like board games. Like we'll still play like Runebound and Descent and things like that. We even have like a Descent campaign going on. But about once a month we actually get to game. As far as the role playing goes. It's a little bit on hiatus due to COVID until we get all get set up with kind of a VTT and some other stuff, a virtual tabletop and all. But
right,
we are trying to make that happen. So
cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Very nice.
And so follow up, of course, would be some of the ongoing games. But I think you already mentioned that. So now we do have a segue into. We actually had a listener write us, and
awesome.
He sent us a couple questions, and
awesome. That's good.
He asked you a question which I also have an answer for, so I kind of want to see what you say about this first one that he asked us. So I'm going to go ahead and ask it, and then I'll pass on. Then we'll go back to our round robin method here. But from Jeremy Hall, And he says, how do you react to or deal with the accusation that Terranoth is a generic fantasy setting for a generic RPG? We've all heard this argument, and we feel it isn't true, but FFG really hasn't given us a great tome to help us in a matter similar to the World of Android book, which predates Genesys by years.
That's a great question. Basically, if you base it solely on the Realms of Terranoth book, I can kind of see where you get that. It's an amazing book. It's got a lot of stuff in it, a lot of information, but it's also got a lot of like history and things like that that may not be necessarily the thing that people read. So when they look at it, they see, oh, okay, there's elves, there's orcs, and so on. That's really all they take from it. But there's really, from my perspective, when I came at it playing like Runebound and Descent, there's so much more to that world that the book doesn't go into. So I already know more about that lore that's actually out there and why it's not generic. For me, my players have been playing D&D for years, just like I have. So, if I put a troll up to them, they know its stats just as well as I do as a GM. If I throw a dragon at them, they know how often it can breathe. And it's kind of hard to divest your player and your character of that knowledge because you've done it so many times. Yeah. But if I throw a Bane spider at them, they're like, I don't know what the hell that does.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can tweak them from one encounter to the next anyway.
Exactly. And, what's a reanimate? I don't know. Is there some undead thing? So it's fun because it's fun for them because it's like playing D&D all over again or playing some other role-playing game all over again because they don't know what they're facing. Yep. Whereas they did, with all those other games. So that's why it's definitely not a generic fantasy world because, I think on my site, I have like 40 different mounts that people can have that are all based on like the cards and lore and Terranoth.
Nice.
I don't have that in D&D, So generic, not so much, but I can see where they'd get that just reading the source book, but there's a lot out there.
Yep, and that's what I was going to say. The source book is the opening foray. They meant it to be the opening foray into the setting. And if you wished to dig deeper, they have that whole plethora of other products to make it deeper, make it less generic. And I got to say, I've never played any other Terranoth or any other fantasy game where you could play a rune mage right from character creation. You always had to build towards it. Right. If you wanted to do it. And like D&D 3.5, you had to build towards a prestige class and things like that. And that's one thing that's, I think, draws people and is unique to Terranoth alone is the runes themselves. I mean, all their first games for it were Runebound and RuneQuest. And,
It's certainly a big part of the
that's
background.
That's a good point. It's actually when I'm one of the things on the drawing board is Terranoth Treasures 3, and it's going to be solely based on rune items.
I'll buy that.
Nice. Yeah.
That
looks good.
All right.
Stefan, go ahead.
Yeah, Stefan, go for it.
Actually, you guys go because my copies of I had to print out the copies of the show notes, and I don't have Jeremy Hall's questions.
So,
go ahead, Chris.
So the next question was what drew you to Terranoth, and Jeremy kind of goes on and says that it's obvious that he has a huge passion for the setting, and without his works, the setting world would be very hard to flesh out using just Realms of Terranoth. So I'll just read the rest of it here because that's really the only question. He says, good luck. Look forward to the show in the next one, which I assume is a Keyforward review. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Yep, that it will be. Not a setting I care about, but the book is amazing. Agreed. Stay tuned. So, Chris, what draw you to Terranoth?
Really, it started with those other games. I mean, the Runebound game and then the Descent game. It was just so much fun playing those games, and it was just nice to have a new game world and new monsters. I mean, really just a new stuff, from the same old fantasy stuff that we were so used to for so long. That was what really drew me to it. And then when I saw the book come out, and the book is great, but I mean, I'm also used to those. I have that D&D mindset from some of those old world books where they had like, okay, here's all the gods, and here's their symbols, and here's the heraldry of all these different countries, and here's this, and here's that, and I'm like, where is that? It needs to be there. I mean, we know it. Like if we see banners of somebody with a unicorn, we're like, oh, they're from Forge, because we played those games, but looking at the source book, you're like, you got nothing on that. So,
now we do.
No. Yeah, now you do.
Now we kind of do, which is the segue into kind of another the next part. And Tony, go ahead and take care of that if you'd like.
Okay, so we actually have some supplement-specific questions, and first and foremost, the big one. There's so many. So I have a list, and it's not a complete list now that I've looked, but you have Terranoth Taverns, you have Xanagan Zoology, you have Terranoth Treasures 1 and 2, and soon to be 3, Ministries of Manara, Xanagan Zealots, Terranoth Trades, Manual of Manara, Vile Villains, Alkalim Adversaries, and the latest foray, Timoran's Tome.
Mm-hmm.
What are all these? Can you give us a brief rundown, maybe, of each thing and what it is?
Sure. Taverns is the first one, and it's basically 4 unique taverns. There's like a gnomish tavern with inventions. There's an orcish tavern with some really grotesque drinking practices. There's a really fancy restaurant, and there's also a Xanagan themed kind of tavern run by a Xanagan explorer.
I love that. That tavern alone reminds me of Rainforest Cafe. It does.
Exactly. That's exactly the vibe I was going for on it. So
there we go.
That's awesome.
But too many times you're gaming and it's like, oh, you go into a tavern. See, my players, they know that if they're going into a tavern, there's probably going to be something about it that's not normal. So
perfect.
That's just kind of fun.
Something unique.
That's
exactly. Xanagan Zoology was really just kind of, I was going through the Runebound cards and thinking, man, I really need to bring these guys into Genesys. So I actually sat down and I had the idea and I did the outline for a bunch of different bestiaries. And I realized that I'm going to be drawing these things till next year if I try to just wait until I do them all. So I broke them into sections based on where they were from. So Xanagan Zoology was one of the first ones of those. And then a lot of the animals I was going to put in part 2 to come out kind of soon afterwards actually ended up being in the EPG, in the Expanded Player's Guide. So I had to kind of rework that and put it on the back burner a little bit. So.
Oh, gotcha.
But I do have enough creatures now to do a second one, so I'll have to work on that. But the treasures 1 and 2. Treasures 2 came really kind of quickly because I was doing those, and again, if I waited till I drew all the treasures, it would just take a while because I'm doing my own art for the most part on a lot of these. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, and my daughter's an artist as well, so which is good because she's better at people, specifically females, than I am as far as drawing. So
right,
that's great. So I can have her draw people, and I draw items and such like that. So
cool.
So it's fun. And it's a nice little father-daughter thing to do. She draws it out, but then I'll ink it and color it and everything and shade it and all that stuff.
Very good.
So I got a little sweatshop going.
Yep.
Nice.
She's in her 20s, so,
Oh, then, see, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's legal. Yeah, I've used Terranoth Treasures 1 under Chris's recommendation when I was working on my own thing, so that helped me out even if I don't use all the treasures right now. Like maybe I will later on, but I think it was a section about creating magic items. Like, oh, okay, cool.
Oh yeah, mm-hmm. And I wanted it to be a nice thing where you didn't want a player that's cranking them out like a factory,
No.
But at the same time, it's nice to be able to make something that's yours. So, so that kind of got born out of that. So yeah, Treasures 1 and 2 are both kind of the same kind of books, just different items, and they're all taking items that we experienced in the Descent, Unbound, and bringing those into the game. So.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
So it is inspiration from somewhere, at least.
Oh yeah, no, these are all. I mean, like all the creatures in Xanagan Zoology, they all exist somewhere in the lore. Whether it's whether it's Runebound or Descent, there's something there for it, and that name and everything, the look to it and all that. Something I try to keep.
Cool.
So like Ministries and Xenog and Zealots, both of those two are the same kind of book as well, where they're basically about the gods. There's a paragraph of each god in the ROT book, in the Realms of Terranoth book, and there's no symbol. There's really not much about them other than maybe they're good, they're bad, or this is kind of what they are. But there's really a lot more that are mentioned in the other products. So I wanted to flesh those out, give them symbols based on what they described and everything. Because one of my favorite books when I played D&D was the Forgotten Realms. The setting book. It basically had like a picture of all the different priests of the gods and what they looked like, so you could have an idea.
I remember that.
That's what my character should look like, or that's what the symbol looks like. Okay, cool. And I wanted that from Terranoth, so that's where that came from.
Nice.
Yeah, I got that Faiths of Faerun kind of feel about it, so that was nice.
Exactly.
I'm glad you were going for that. Exactly.
And trades, this started out where I was like, okay, I remember playing different classes in Descent. I think they basically called these classes in there. And, there are things like the Rune Master or the Spirit Speaker, things that are mentioned in the book, but they really don't have listed as careers in Realms of Terranoth.
Right. They just got basic ones in the core book.
And then I started looking, and I'm like, there are 32 of them in the Descent games, the expansions. So I'm like, okay, well, let's make these into careers and bring them into the game so people can play these things, So that's where that came from. And I'm actually going to be following that up with talent pyramids for all 32 classes. That'll include some of the abilities that are in the Descent game, but it'll also include regular talents as well that are in the EPG and also the CRB, the core rulebook.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I've got 4 of them done so far, so I got a few more to go.
Yeah. Chip away.
Almost there. No.
Well, that's just it. You can only do so many of those things and maintain your sanity.
That's it. Take a break, do something else.
Then you'll be
do what I do and not worry about sanity.
And that kind of goes into like how I work, because I actually work on about 2 or 3 projects at a time. And I go back and forth. If I get like a little block on one, I go switch back over to the other one, or switch back and forth if I get excited about something.
Nice.
Probably my worst thing is I get like 34, like let's see, 3/4 of the way through something, and then something new and shiny catches my eye. Like, ooh, I wouldn't do that. So then I'll work on that for 2 days, and then I'll finally go back to the other one and be like, okay, I got to finish this thing.
Gentlemen, this is exactly why you have not seen a Primordial Machina document yet. This happens to Tony.
Shiny. New shinies.
Ooh,
yes. Yep. In fact, one of the titles, this one you didn't mention, it was a very good example of the shiny. It's called Terrianor's Transports, and it's actually about ships. It's got 9 different ship deck plans in it.
Yeah.
And all kinds of cannons and things like that, and which are actually in Terranoth because they're in the Isle of Dread expansion for Runebound.
Oh, of course.
Cool.
So they are there. And basically, that was something new and shiny. I got this software that you can make some different ship maps and such. And I'm like, ooh, shiny. So I worked on that for about a week or so, and then I was like, had it almost done. And I was really trying to finish up like Timorin's Tome or something like that. And even my wife was yelling at me like, God damn it.
We'll have to email you Tony's sanity tables, so you can make a roll on them at some point.
So you can roll on them randomly.
That's right.
Yeah. Manual of Minara was basically my first opus one. I mean, that was a huge book.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's a nice one.
And it kind of I missed all the heraldry of all that stuff. Like we talk about, like, if you see the unicorn banner, it's from Forge. And I started working on this, and then I got talking with Roy, who does a lot of visuals and supplements for basically the Foundry. And he said, hey, I can do some maps. And I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. I think this is my favorite product because it does remind me of some of the Forgotten Realms, even books. And they talk about, let's say, Aglaron. Okay, so they have a bit of a map focus on that page.
Yeah.
So you did a bit the same thing. So Al-Khalim has that map on one corner, a bit of who's the ruler, who's the symbol maybe of the realm.
Exactly.
So that was cool, because even when I ran briefly the guys through a little short session on the RPG Brewery, I even created a few heraldry symbols for the various minor nobles that were in the story.
Oh, great! Yeah, exactly.
Even if they weren't official, at least not one of the barons, but at least the serfs, well, not serfs, but the
lord,
the lords that serve the barons.
Cool.
The counts.
Counts. There you go.
At least in the baronies, most likely.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's and that's what's really cool about it is and a lot of that stuff is actually in the book. It's just really buried in the book. So.
Well, that's it. I had taken out my own notes of who rules which barony and a little bit of their personalities. But now that you made an official PDF, it's like, excellent.
Yeah, and I definitely tried to capture like every little note that they had in there about a baron. I was like, okay, that's like if you look at one of the barons, like Gregory or somebody mentions like he's got a big white bushy mustache or whatever, and it's like, okay, that's what he's got.
There we go.
Awesome.
Vile Villains. This is actually more of a project of a friend of mine. He had the idea, and he definitely did all the writing and so forth. I just kind of helped him format it and get it into a product because he didn't have the technical skills for that, and of course the art.
Right.
But yeah, all the rest of it is pretty much him. And I'm actually working on a second one for him to help him out. I finished all the art for it yesterday, so that'll actually probably go out sometime this week.
Cool.
Okay. So keep a lookout on the Drive-Thru RPG again, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically just 8 villains all ready to go.
And who's that other author?
Randall Mason. He's actually one of my players in my campaign.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Cool. Yeah, I see you guys are co-credited, but I added it to the list anyway. Your name's on it.
The next one is just going to be his name, but I'll just be in the credits doing all the stuff that I did. But yeah,
right.
Cool. Al-Khalim is basically just that same idea with Xanagan zoology. It's just a bunch of creatures that are in the Al-Khalim setting. And I had a whole bunch of bestiaries, but I found a really good cover art for that one. So I was like, okay, I'll do that one next.
Oh, nice.
And I think with your zoology and Khalim adversaries, you also have an accompanying document for printing them as cards.
Yes, and that's Roy, because Roy came up with that, Roy Altman.
Right.
And I asked him if I could use it, and he's like, oh, yeah, sure, go ahead, include them in. So,
that's great.
Like, great. Yeah, so I tried to have the adversary cards in there, too.
Oh, those are great.
Nice.
I got them. Well, I started using the adversary cards when I was running Star Wars. Right, and just put them in the plastic sleeves. You can write on it, keep track of wounds or whatever, and just, I want a bounty hunter. There we go. You got one. Those are really good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Oh, yeah. It's nice to be able to just see the dice, too. You can see all the dice pools that they have, and it's okay.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Very good.
Yeah, and then finally, Timrin's Tome, that was just kind of the second big opus. I did that one mostly for my wife because she hates open magic systems. So she wants a lot more structure. She likes playing magic users, but she doesn't like the whole freeform thing. Which, a lot of people love the freeform thing, and I get that. But, she's so used to having like a level system and having a list of spells. And
what they do.
Yeah, she also likes finding spells and spell books and stuff like that, too. So it's kind of like...
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so she's like, if we're going to ever try to play Genesys, it's like you need to have some kind of a magic system that I can get behind. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
So the idea with this is I was reading through Scott's Xenothrex's guide to Magic, and I'm like, this is really good. This is a good foundation of if I can have these constructed spells that kind of, mimic what you have in in other games, like you have these these lower level spells and these weaker spells, and then these big hoo-ha-ha spells, maybe she can actually get behind that. So that's what this kind of bore out of. And the nice thing about it is you can either use that optional stuff like levels and so forth, or you can throw it out and it doesn't change the mechanics of the spells at all. They still use the same variables to build the spells that like Xenothrix's Guide does or anything else.
Yeah,
so
they're just pre-written.
So I want to see the first update to Timorin's Tome of that big hoo-ha spell. So whatever that is.
Well, pretty much look for things that have a difficulty of 5.
There we go.
But yeah, I can definitely see this as a great way, just like the Xenothrix Guide, to bring people who are used to having a section of spells in the rule book. This kind of helps them, wrap their heads around. Okay, these are the spells that my wizard can do.
Oh yeah,
and maybe and from there they can learn to tweak it.
Right, and even as a GM, if I have an NPC mage or an enemy mage, I want to have a little list of like, okay, what are his go-to spells that he can do, and what are the dice pools for him, so I don't have to sit there and think about them, during the game.
Oh yeah, definitely a good tool either side of the screen.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely I'm a big fan of prep, and the more I'm prepped, the more they can go off script, and I'll be ready for it. So
cool,
definitely. But
the lot.
Definitely as a GM, if I ever run like another con game, I would certainly find that very useful to cut and paste or to borrow those and put them on a pre-generated character, so that people who are coming in who are new to this system, you could do this spell, this spell, this spell, or you can make your own spell, and
right,
yeah. Or take this spell and change it a little bit. You want something with greater range? There's a way to do it.
That's right.
Very much like the way that they did for the pre-generated characters that they came out with Terrinoth, how they had their own list of spells, but they also said, you can do this.
Right.
Yeah, a few common spells for them.
Yeah, and I'm kind of hoping my wife gets into that where she's like, okay, you can do this, but if you want to tweak it a little bit, you can do this to it,
You can make it a little harder, and your fireball can go extreme range and hit the top of the tower.
Yeah.
Or, hey, you're not sure if this thing's damaged by fire or cold, so you're going to make a ball that does both.
Yeah.
There you go.
Burning ice.
Exactly.
Nice. Well, let's see.
Fire and ice.
Yeah, fire and ice. So the next question, we know you're a big fan of Terrinoth and Manara before Realms of Terrinoth, but I like this next one. So you do have a product catalog. That's fair to say, right? What one are you the most proud of, and why?
I think Manual of Manara, just because it really fills in a lot of the blanks that the source book doesn't. Timorin's Tome is right up there. I mean, those two are both kind of tied, and they're both a lot of work, and I did a lot of time putting those together. But Manual of Manara is definitely, from jump, it's one of the first things I wanted to put out, but I really didn't have the skill, the maps, and everything else at the time to do that. So
cool.
Right.
Cool. That's very good.
Very cool. And I guess that's kind of what you already asked, I guess, Chris. Which one was the hardest to write?
Oh, Timorin's Tome, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a spreadsheet that I worked off before I even put one word down on paper, just so I could reference everything right, level it, and if I was referencing a spell in Scott's book, I had the right page number and everything, and then I had to keep track of which skills can cast the spell and which ones can't, and that was definitely the hardest to write.
Right. But now it's done, so.
Yes. Oh, well, it's never done. There's always...
Oh, right.
It's always things that I find or others find, and it's like, and that's fine. I'll always make corrections and so forth, so.
Okay, well, it's out there at least.
Exactly.
Tony, you want to take the next one? I think
totally.
Oh, yeah, that one definitely came for me. So are you related to Timorin?
No, not related.
Sure you can't trace your lineage somewhere to him?
It's possible.
Sure. Okay.
I heard he likes to be called Tim.
Well, I don't know if you ever listened, but we did an actual play, a live play. It was actually on his Twitch channel over on the Brewery Show of Realms of Terrinoth, and I wish he had known about the fact that you had the stats for Artis Cerberus, because your stats are way less powerful than his when we faced against him. But yeah, he over there, he had some. We interacted with Timurran's, one of his servants, and my catfolk made a tremendous deception check and convinced them that my catfolk bard was his descendant of Timurran. It was 2 triumphs on a single deception check.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
He was a descendant from Timurran's pet, his favorite cat.
You know, never know. Where do half catfolk come from? Maybe I had one in my past.
Well, it's one of those runes. Zszree's mutated some cats.
Yeah, there's always this rumor. There's always those rumors about Timurran, but
That's it.
That's great.
Anyhow, now that was my frivolous question because I had that happen. But the real question we have is, so you do have a ton of products out there. You've done a whole bunch of them. Where do you find the energy? I mean, some people might think that you might have sold your soul to Nordros to become a lich to have so you don't have to sleep. But just curious, where do you find the time to write all this stuff?
oddly enough, that's kind of partly true because I don't need to sleep a lot.
I knew it, Tony. I knew it.
I actually wake up like about 4 hours before my wife every morning. So I come in here in the office, which is it used to be her craft room, and ever since the whole COVID thing, now it's our home office. And I've got like 4 hours to kill where I can just kind of have me time and just write. So that's always good.
And I'm sure you have a time rune somewhere.
Exactly. No, it's just that my work is in IT, so it's very reactive versus like always having meetings or always having this. So I have a lot of time during the day sometimes where I can just spend on it, and some days are busy, some days aren't. So it just depends on the days. Cool. But I can still do things. I can still even talk in meetings and answer questions, and at the same time I'm sitting there drawing out a Martian ray gun or something. So
yeah,
very nice.
That's great.
Very good.
Holmey, did you have any? I know you had a couple specific questions about specific products. Did you want to go into those?
No, not so much. I just wanted to comment on this is just your catalog that you've created here, Chris, is very impressive, and it's definitely added to the realms of Tyranoth, and it's very, very rich. A lot of information here. So appreciate all of the hard work on it, because good stuff, very good stuff.
Yeah, we do appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. It's definitely. It's done out of love and passion for that game. So
that is obvious. Mm-hmm. That is very obvious.
And normally, something like this, we would first give you 50 pieces of awesome for it, but I've given you so much of my hard-earned cash for this, I don't have any 50 pieces of awesome for you, buddy.
The coffers are empty.
Maybe we can give him some M-bits.
There you go. Maybe some M-bits in the future.
That's by a flying saucer.
Yeah, Martian M-bits.
Yeah. Hey, ever since I played Destroy All Humans, I want nothing more than to fly one of those saucers.
Yeah.
And I think I did see a flying saucer in the Keyforge book. So.
There is, and I mentioned it in the supplement as well, just because it is one of their main ships.
Well, that's great.
I give you a lot of different ways to arm it, though, too.
Like a grabber jammer.
Yeah, and my exactly. My the two aliens that kind of narrate you through the book may have a lot of similarity to certain two aliens in Destroy All Humans. I don't know.
Oh, nice. Well done, sir. Well done.
Why not?
All right. Well,
excellent.
Is there anything else we wanted to ask or talk about?
I don't think I have anything else. I think we...
Well, all right.
Let's play.
All right.
Play a little bit.
Yeah, let's roll some dice.
Yeah.
All right.
Welcome to Advantageous Threats. This is where we build, roll, and adjudicate some sample skill checks for your entertainment as well as our own. This show, we're going to be going through a quick round or 3 in an encounter designed by myself, utilizing, one of Chris's many products. I use the Alkalim adversaries, which I happen to enjoy a couple of them in there tremendously. So I was like, ooh, yeah, I want to do this.
Nice.
So in this encounter, I'll GM a small Terranoth encounter, and Holmey, Chris, and Stefan will be the players. So why don't we introduce these characters, and then I'll do setting the stage for you. So let's start with our guest. He's playing Javan Id Mavaro. I think I said that right.
I think so.
What's he all about?
I am a Javan Id Mavaro. I am a geomancer. I work with the earth.
Now the Geomancer is from your Terranoth Trade supplement?
Yep.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. All right. And then we have Stefan.
Yes, Stefan would be playing Zanana Talvari, if I remember the name correctly. Yeah, Talavi. She is a skirmisher, also from the Terranoth Trades. A skirmisher, dual-wielding scimitars of the Fire Sands of Al-Kalim.
Very nice. And lastly, Holmey, looks like an elf.
Playing a lowborn elf called Tegan, and yes, I used Terranoth Trades as well. Playing a treasure hunter from the scout career. He's kind of a sly guy. He's a treasure hunter. He found an ancient elven bow in some ruins far into like the deep wood of his homeland. Said, "Oh shit, I better get the hell out of here." Crossed the lands, crossed the sea to Al-Kalim. Been there for a century, just treasure hunting. So, guiding expeditions.
Zanana's very wary of Tegan. He's always trying to get to her treasures.
What? Come on! I have this tavern that I've owned, that I've invested in. Here, a couple orcs run it.
So, for setting the stage here, after months of searching the western sands and the deserts of Al-Kalim, our weary adventurers have finally found, they believe, the lost ruins of Akatesh, said to be the first palace of the Jinn that once ruled these lands. But something becomes apparent immediately. These ruins are far from empty. So you stand before you, as if it appeared out of the desert, bright in the sun, these vast ruins, a vast palace, much like the Taj Mahal, in the way that it looks, except for the apex of this huge tower at the center of this palace is a giant ruby.
Ooh.
And shadows flitter about all underneath the awnings of these ruins, and it's quite apparent that something is moving out of the sun's gaze. Something is hiding in these ruins.
Uh-oh. Well, I have guided you here. Now it's time to get that ruby. I told you we'd find the city.
On these sands in the desert, are there any like small rocks around or anything like that?
There are a couple of small rocks, but they're sandstone.
That's fine.
They're probably part of the ruins that have been blown here by tremendous winds.
Perfect.
Okay.
I just want to go ahead and grab a few of them, make sure I have them on me. Put them in some of my deeper pockets.
Excellent.
Nice.
Bob Tegan, what's he doing?
Well, we've probably done some research ahead of time as to what creatures might be here. Is there some sort of roll I might be able to make to see what we might, if we know what we might be facing?
Sure. How about a knowledge check, and we'll do geography.
Geography. Sweet. I actually have that. All right. What kind of difficulty are we talking?
Average.
Average?
But since it hasn't been found in a very long time, those who have rumors have told you rumors, or what you've read is very old. So the age involved will provide you with 2 setback dice.
All right.
Oh, but Zanana is also skilled in geography, so maybe she'll give a boost die.
Okay, with assistance. Excellent.
Yes.
Awesome. Now, because I've been here for about in Al-Khalim for about 100 years, I'm going to channel my inner Stefan.
Perhaps some of those rumors came from people you met firsthand and not second or third. Sure.
There you go. Okay, cool. All right. That is... Okay, so then we'll do another one. All right, well, cool. This could be interesting. All right, so here we go. I'm rolling. Ooh, I got 2 successes. But I got 2 threats as well on it.
Well, your most recent stories that you received were from some vermin who were in the area recently. I think that's vermin? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Vermin. Which are desert-dwelling insectile humanoids who they tend to be very insular and quiet, keep to themselves. Their place in society is that of desert traders and nomads.
Okay.
And they traveled by this place, but 2 of their number went missing, and they have named this place as Cursed.
Okay. And that's probably...
2 of their members went missing at night.
They did.
Okay.
Well,
Piggybacking off of that, is it possible to flip a story point and use my all the facts heroic ability and see what I might know or remember from this?
Oh, yeah, sure.
well, first off, I'm not going to mention these guys said this place is cursed. Because Tegan's actually, I randomly rolled, he's actually a compulsive liar. Player knowledge, not character knowledge.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, he does it. He's like, yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, they explored in there during the night, and, yeah, they weren't really sure what they found, though, so... They hadn't talked to their buddies in a while.
But you remember hearing this same tale, and you remember hearing that those vermin have named this place as Cursed and said it took a lot of coaxing and several coins to get them to tell you even about this place, because they did not wish you to come here and release the curse upon the sands. But that curse to you, with all the knowledge, to you seems more fabricated by their own fear of what came for them in the night. Something that would move much more prolifically at night than it would during the day, which is probably what you're looking at now. And you think maybe these ruins may perhaps be infested with darkness drinkers.
Oh my.
Okay, so I'll say, yes, I remember the tale very well, now that you mention it. They also mentioned this place was cursed. But
I don't remember that.
But they are prone to exaggerate. They're very superstitious lot.
So boogeyman stories.
Yes, but I also remember they were not very happy about visiting at night either. So we may want to keep that in mind.
Okay. What time of day is it?
It is midday.
Well,
the sun sits high at its apex.
All right.
The shadows, therefore, the shadows in the ruins cast straight down.
Awesome.
Leave lots of room for darkness in the ruins themselves.
All right. Well, let's head down there. Why not? Take our time. Or do we turn back? No.
We should be cautious.
Yeah, gotta be cautious.
It's probably
Since you are
just
approaching cautiously.
Scimitar is drawn.
Stealthing, if we can. I don't know if we cover of the sandstorm.
So there's actually no sandstorm. Sun's shining.
Nice.
As you approach, you see where the main entrance to this main hall of the Jinn which once was a huge archway and several chunks of stone are missing out of that archway, it glows with a magical light almost. And where it should cast light into the main hall, the light immediately inside the main hall feels as if it's being sucked out of nowhere. It's just disappearing. Where that light, on your side is comparable to bright sunlight. On the other side, it should shine deep into the hall, but it does not.
Oh, it's like thick smoke is just drinking it up.
It's as if some sort of darkness is drinking the light.
Oh my. Well, I have my bow out. Arrow knocked.
Yeah.
As we approach.
Got a staff in one hand and a rock in the other.
Nice.
Knowing of an ambush makes it less of an ambush. So let's see what you guys get. I'm going to go ahead and give you a vigilance check as you approach. This is a group check, so one of you make it. Whoever's best at it. And this is going to be...
So not me.
This is going to be set by... Usually it would be opposed by their stealth. But I'm going to make it one less difficult because you're well aware of it. So it's going to be average difficulty.
Is it perception? It's not perception. It's vigilance, you said, right? Even
vigilance, yes.
Okay.
Just you're staying vigilant. You know they're there. You feel their presence, but knowing when they're going to attack.
Yeah,
Nice.
I think Zanana has vigilance. I'm not sure how many. Holmey?
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that's right. Sorry. I need to do your character for you. Oh, you have you have a yellow. I have a green. One green, you have one yellow.
I have a yellow and a green. Is that?
That's better.
Oh, that's even better.
Why don't you roll,
better,
Chris?
Okay,
That would be better.
And Zanana will provide a boost die with her training.
There we go. That'll help.
I happen to have them both all open to Stefan. So if
okay, good.
Mr.
Thank
Holmes fails to help you out again, I
Again, nice.
What's
you. A backup.
Or am I just rolling that, or do you have a difficulty going on this? Or
it was average difficulty.
Okay.
However, because of the darkness, it imposes a couple of setback dice.
Well, can I employ my knack for it talent? No, it's not perception. It's vigilance. Sorry.
Okay.
So that'd be
okay. So I've got a yellow, green, blue boost dice, 2 difficulty dice, and 2 setback dice.
Oh, you got this.
Sounds great.
Go for it.
1 success, 2 advantages.
Ooh.
Very nice. Well, we'll begin with a success. So you do see in the shadows, melding with the shadows, but they almost move with an inky grace. 2 shadowy figures. You can see their bared fangs. It's as if they're waiting, just hovering behind a pair of statues of giant cobras. And yes, there are a pair of darkness drinkers in these ruins, and they are in your immediate vicinity. They are at long range from you. 2 paired serpents that go up and face each other, and they're at their bases, hovering around the bottom of them, just kind of watching you, waiting to come out of nowhere and get you.
Oh my! Point them out, huh?
So, what's your advantage?
Uh-huh. Okay.
There are 2 darkness drinkers.
Oh! I see them. I pull back my bow.
Finally, something we can kill.
What would you like to do with your 2 advantage, Chris?
I'd like to go ahead and attack them.
Okay.
Nice.
You know what? I'll let you guys just go ahead and attack them before they even notice that you've noticed them for that.
Cool. Long range, you said?
It's going to be long range, and they're going to have cover of the statues.
Gotcha.
So we'll just go down the line. I'll start with Djavin. What would he like to do?
Well, I'm going to use my destructive detonation. So I take a stone, because I do have component casting, and
Nice.
basically my idea is that this stone is going to be used as I'm going to be detonating the stone to make that blast.
Very nice.
Geomancer. So I've got 3 yellow, 1 green. Let's see. Difficulty is 3 because it's my signature spell.
Okay.
And let's see.
Is range built into that?
Yes, range is long because I'm using a staff.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Okay. And so then you're also firing into darkness. So you're going to have a setback die due to darkness, and you're going to have 2 setback dice due to cover.
Gotcha.
2
For
setback.
a total of 3.
Does that matter for a blast type of weapon?
Not really. You know what? Yeah, take them off. Take them off for the cover.
He's the anti-Stefan.
Yeah.
He gets rid of setback dice.
If you're just going to blow up the cover and them, so be it.
Yep.
Well done.
All right. So
All right.
this
Yeah. Close only counts in grenades and hitches.
1
And
failure,
picnic.
3 advantages.
Oh.
Well, 3 advantage. You missed.
Yeah.
But
But blew all the cover off.
I can checker the blast though.
No, nice. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
missed just barely, and you could trigger blast and still do some blast damage. Blast damage 4. Okay.
It's is that the? I'm missing it. I know the damage is like 6 plus 1 for each success, but it's like 4 is the blast rating.
Right. It would be 4 plus the number of successes you had. But since you failed, I think it's just 4 as your base. I think.
Right. It's a crit of 2, vicious 2, fire, burn of 2.
Oof.
Well, it takes 2 advantage to trigger blast.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you still have 1 single advantage left.
And I think we use that to recover a stamina.
All right.
I mean,
did you-
I say stamina, but it's strain.
Strain.
That's the descent in me.
Gotcha.
There you go.
Understandable. All right. So then the second of you who was prepared was taken.
Sounds
Go
good.
ahead, Chris.
Did any of that cover go away? Or it's still 2?
No, it's still there. Still there.
Still 2? Okay.
Yeah.
And then a setback. Now, would I be able to remove one of those setback because I have knack for it in perception? No, I doubt it. Okay.
Unrelated.
I know. All right. I will go ahead and roll here. Did you want to do anything with this? I have 2 yellow, 2 green. I'm aiming 3 purple and 3 setback dice.
No, I'm quite content with the story points where they sit, which is still 2 and 2.
Okay, that sounds good. I'm going to leave it there. Oh, awesome. I got 1 simple success. I would like to activate a talent that I have called hamstring, if I can hamstring the darkness or shadow.
Well, these are actual creatures.
Okay, so then I'll do half damage, which is going to be 9 halved is 4. And
which one? The one on the left or the right?
The left. And then it'll be immobilized until the end of its turn. So it won't be able to move.
Okay.
At least so. And I don't... Oh, wait a second. I do have 1... Oh, you know what? I do have 1... It is superior, so I do get an advantage. I'm actually going to crit it as well.
Okay.
So, let's see here. Can I do that? I don't have my percentile dice. There we go.
Oh, you don't have them? I do have
got
some
'em.
right here.
Oh, there. I got my
roll 'em
deep
for you?
percent. I got it. 70.
7-0. So that is scattered
7-0.
senses. Target removes all boost dice from checks until this critical injury is healed.
Woohoo! Nice. Yeah, I can activate crit with 1 because it's an ancient elven bow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good thing you stole it.
Well, yeah, I ran.
Shoot it like you stole it.
Hey, I'm a treasure hunter.
It still works.
It still works. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that's it. That's all I've got.
All right.
And last but not least, Zanana.
Zanana well, she's got her scimitars ready, and they're thirsty for blood, so she's going to be running towards them.
Nice.
Okay.
And then downgrading her action to run again.
Okay. Well, that'll get her from long to short range.
All right.
All I can think of is I attack
like the darkness.
Yes.
That's what I did too.
Yeah.
Over here, the darkness attacks back.
Hey,
Yeah.
I hamstrung the darkness.
All right, so now we're actually going to roll some initiative. I kind of gave you guys a surprise round there, and they're not coming out into the. They don't appear to be coming out into the sunlight to attack you.
Ooh,
Okay.
Nice. That works. Okay.
All right. So
So her initiative is 1 yellow. By the way, there, Stefan.
okay, 1 yellow, perfect. I got 1 advantage.
Me too. With my 1 green. I
So
suck at this game.
0.1 for a player, 0.1 for a player.
Mm-hmm. And Chris.
I didn't see what's on here. Let's see.
Looks like he has a yellow and a green for Dragonspawn.
Oh, somehow I'm missing it. What do you? Let's see.
Cool or initiative? Cool or
For
vigilance?
yeah,
vigilance. Vigilance.
Yeah, that's it. Vigilance. Yep. Okay. Okay. Hold on. Whoa. Is there an easy way to clear out the dice on this
Just click them.
or not?
Just click
Oh,
them.
okay.
Yeah, there isn't an
I
easy way.
wasn't sure. Okay.
I don't think. No. Hey, if you guys from RPG
one
sessions,
success, 2 advantage.
yeah, if you guys
One
from
success,
RPG,
2 advantages.
nice.
1 success, 2 advantage. Okay, well,
And if
if
you guys from RPG sessions are listening, you need a dice clear button.
Yeah. Clear
Right
the dice tracker.
Okay, so my thing 1 and thing 2 here have rolled in, and thing 3 that you did not see
Uh-oh.
have rolled in. Ha ha ha!
Uh-oh.
Because it had complete and full cover. So they all rolled at least 2 successes or more, so they are all going to go before you.
Ooh.
So the 2 that were on the at the statues will immediately lurch forward towards Zanana. As soon as she enters short range, they maneuver.
Nope. Not the
forward.
one on the left. Not the one on the
Oh
left.
yeah, he's pinned down. He
immobilized.
tries to.
Tries to.
He's immobilized.
Pinned him to the ground or something. I don't
He's
know.
All right. So then the other one, the one on the right, does move in on Zanana.
Nice.
Takes his maneuver to move from short to gauged range.
Mm-hmm.
And then he, as he gets close to you, the light from outdoors just sucks away from you. You cannot see anything. You are engulfed in pitch black.
Oh, no.
And the cold wind strikes at you as he swings a shadowy sword in your direction. So that's
she's got defense, I think. I believe melee defense, might at least 1, if not 2. 2, I think, with her swords.
okay. So
Yep.
I've
Well,
got these.
yeah, but you have melee
these guys
1.
have a
Melee 1 defense.
Okay.
These guys have a brawn of 4 and a melee heavy of 3. They are beasts.
I think it was supposed to be the reverse on my stats, actually. The melee was supposed to be 2 and range 1. But whatever. We'll go with 1.
Okay.
Oh,
so
You're right. You're right.
melee is 2.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So I have 2 purple dice for the difficulty normally, and 2 setback dice. And he used his maneuver to approach you, so he will not be aiming.
All
Are
right.
you going to do anything to my pool?
I'll spend a story point because she's in her element. She's used to fighting in the sands and sometimes at a disadvantage. When the sandstorms whip up.
Excellent. All right. Well, first and foremost, I hit you,
All right.
but I give you 2 threat to play with.
Aha. Okay.
A single hit with the sword, though, so it's only 8 wounds
Only.
Okay.
worth of damage. But you have so you have
Yeah, I think
3.
3 is okay.
You are currently at 5.
Right. So 5 wounds. All right.
Holy buckets.
That's okay. I think with the threat, even though she herself can't see much, she whipped her scimitars into the sand and into the creature's eyes, giving it setback on its next actions.
Oh, cool.
All right. Very nice. All right. So the second one, again, that was that was the second one. The first one was trapped, where it was. The third one comes out of the darkness, and it has with it something in its hand, and it holds it up, and it tips it over, and swarming towards you are several scarab bugs, black, scintillating scarab bugs come crawling towards the two of you standing back at distance. A carpet of them.
Oh, wow.
Swarm.
Ew.
And it retreats back into the darkness from the daylight.
Oh, my.
And so that's number 3. That's all he's going to do.
All right.
You cowardly bastard!
First player slot.
All right. Zanata will take a swipe at the one facing her.
All right. 3 yellow and a green.
Yeah, and she'll use her dual strike. So attacking with both. She's got the dual talent, and
So it does not increase the difficulty?
yeah, and she's got a second, third tier 1. I forget the name. Duelist.
You get a boost die, I think.
Okay.
I think that's what. Oh, wait a second. I have the
Dual strike. You may suffer 2 strain to use this talent to hit instead of spending 2 advantage.
Oh, that's
right. With the second weapon, right.
And then dual wielder, once per round, your character may use a maneuver to not increase the difficulty by 1 where using 2 weapon combat.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
those are the 2 you have.
All right. And what was the skill again?
3 yellow and a green.
3 yellow and green. All right. Green. The boost dice. No boost dice.
You used your maneuver to engage your dual wielder. So
yeah, and the difficulty is
average for all melee attacks. However, because it is sucking in all light around it, the complete and total darkness. Says here in its stat block, this darkness imposes a 3 setback penalty.
Yeah.
Okay,
all right.
So blame the guy who wrote that, not me.
Hey, it's utter total darkness. It's not just dark. It's all light.
All right. Fair enough. All right. So I got 3 yellow, a green, 2 purple, and 3 black. I'm thinking this is fairly important. She doesn't know exactly where it's going on outside her field of vision or lack of vision. She's still going to spend a story point to try and take this thing down as quickly as possible.
Really? So was I.
Yeah, all right. So a red, remove that purple there, and another yellow. There we go. All right. So rolling. A total of all of that. Oh my God, 1 advantage. No, sorry, a despair. And that's it. Everything else washed out or was blank.
Oh. A despair, that's it?
A despair.
Okay.
Yeah, all the yellow dice,
You following its movement through the darkness, and you are feeling your way around, and you step on some sand, and it just immediately whoosh out from under you, and you fall. And you fall.
She just misjudges the sounds around her and just totally lost.
And you fall.
And you fall?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And we'll go from there. All right, so...
Thanks,
we only have 2 PC slots now? Is that what we're saying, Tony?
Well, you have 2 left in this round. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Chris.
So the problem is that she's gone into the darkness. We saw her disappear into the darkness. Is pretty much all we saw, correct?
Lots of darkness. You see her
Lots
in
of
it,
darkness.
Then you don't see her in it.
Okay, so I'm not going to be blasting anything in there.
Then I started blasting.
That's when I started blasting.
No, I'm gonna take out another stone and throw it down on the ground.
Hasa Kafir!
And basically summon up my stone sentry and have him help us out. And
Excellent. Well, it's magic. I'm going to automatically upgrade it because now this place feels dark, horrible.
And 5 successes.
Whoa! Well done. That's
He comes
good.
quick. In fact, with 5 successes, he just immediately... What is thy bidding, master?
Kill the dark things!
And he turns and lumbers that direction.
Okay.
And step on those bugs!
Yes, please step on the bugs. What can I? So can I see? I can still see the one that's pinned, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Actually, Chris, you summoned probably 2 of those with the way I wrote up the spell for that character. Additional summons.
All right. The second one appears behind you. Indeed. And it begins stomping on the bugs.
Nice.
All right.
All right. So I'll move up to medium range from that guy, if I can.
You indeed can, but it's going to put you right on the cusp of the darkness. They may be able to run up and reach out and get you.
They might be able to. But I'm going to move up, shoot, and I'm going to move back to chicken shit range again. So that's what we'll do.
All right. Well, I'm sorry. There is a carpet of insects between you and them.
Oh, there is? Oh, I didn't know it was that close. Okay, then I'll stay at long range. Whatever. I'll let the big bug stomping, what do you call it?
Stone Guardian.
Stone Guardian dude.
Yeah.
Take it out.
Yeah, these
And
are
I will
like the
aim.
scarabs from the Mummy.
I will aim, and I will spend a story point to change one of these, upgrade my check here, because that thing is, well, it's not pinned anymore, because it gets to move at the end of its turn, but it might be moving towards Zanana.
It is.
All
Moving
right.
towards where Zanana was. You can see it moving that way.
Now, we saw her, darkness, but we didn't see her drop from where we were, right? 'Cause
Correct.
She was in
You
the
saw
dark.
her walk into the darkness and then become enveloped by it.
Oh, no. Okay, so then do you want to do anything to this? Pool?
What's your pool?
Okay, it's got 3 yellow, a green, a blue, hard, and 3 setback dice.
I'm okay with it.
Okay, here we go. 1 simple success again. That would be 9. No, 1 success and I get an extra advantage. So, 1 success, 9 damage. And I'll crit it a second time.
9 damage is enough to take it out.
Oh, really?
9 additional. So, just so you're aware, these guys have... Chris did a really cool thing here, and I'll talk about it at the end. But these guys are a little different depending on the time of day.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. I like it. So then for my advantage, you know what? I don't know if that's enough, though, but as I kill it, maybe it allows some of the light to come in, and we might see that she is not there anymore. Just for a moment, I don't know. Or maybe
For the briefest of seconds, you see all around the floor pockmarked holes.
Okay.
Where it looks like the sand is sinking into the ruins. And it's like it just started happening.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh. Eek. No. We need to stay out of there. Zanana, are you there? And I'm done.
Okay. So, top of the next round, the one that was in Zanana's realm of influence, it immediately will head to the edge of the darkness and just you backed up. Darn it.
I never moved.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm still at long range, but I'm at medium range from it though.
All right.
Stephan,
it will
you okay there, bud?
move back to the statues and take cover.
Okay.
And same thing for the third one. which held the large, looked like a coffer full of insects, and the insects are just swarming everywhere.
So we can see the third one.
It is, yeah, and it has dropped that coffer on the ground, and it is just gone back to the pillar or the statues and is hiding amongst them, just like the other one.
Keep those off of me. Keep the scarabs off.
Swarm of scarabs will just immediately swarm the stone sentinel, and he's just covered in black, and they burrow within its flesh, but it doesn't seem to have any effect on him at all. However, you two, the rest of them swarm towards you, Javan and Tegan, and I'm going to need the two of you to make either a coordination or athletics check to avoid getting swarmed by these things.
Okay.
Whether you're jumping out of the way, whether you're stomping on enough of them. Stomping would be athletics, and jumping out of the way would be coordination, whichever you're better at. Difficulty for this is going to be hard.
All right.
And it would have been daunting if he wasn't absorbing a large chunk of the swarm.
So you're saying it's coordination or what else?
Or athletics.
Or athletics. That's right. Whichever you're good at.
All
and
right.
It's just a straight up hard check. If you need to upgrade, go ahead. I'm not going to.
I'm good.
You guys have 2 stored.
Okay. Let me see. So I rolled. I got a failure with 1 advantage.
Okay. How about you, Chris?
I got my dice out.
Can I use a human out-turn incidental to take one of your story points?
All right. Yeah, no problem. You're going to use it right away?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're back to 2 and 2. As if it never changed.
Yeah.
2 successes, 1 threat.
All right. So you successfully, were you rolling coordination or?
Coordination.
So you successfully weave and move and dodge and duck and dive, and these things are flying all around you, but they just kind of swarm past you. However, Tegan.
Yeah.
Several of them land
I ought to be praised.
and right on your chest.
Yeah.
A golden bluish looking one with a skull emblazoned upon its backside latches onto your shirt, and you immediately see it glow with some sort of magical energy, and it imparts upon you some sort of magic. You feel powerful.
Oh, nice. Maybe. Potentially.
Okay.
All right. Well, I do have an advantage. I don't know what I could do with my advantage there, though. Maybe I point something out to Dejavin here, so that when he goes next, or maybe one of us, if he go, the next one to act would.
Well, if you want to notice a detail, the detail is that there's not actually a lot of falling going on, or of the floor falling in there that's going on. There's actually sections of the floor that are rising too. It's not all falling.
Oh my!
It's almost like some of the floor in there, the squares and on the floor are rising and lowering.
Okay.
Some are dropping, some are raising.
Yes. Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
So is it our turn?
First player. Zenana! You could try and catch yourself if you'd like from falling all the way to the bottom of this deep chasm.
Oh. You there, Stefan?
Are you there, Stefan?
You're muted, stupid.
Yes, she will try and do that.
Dead air.
Dead air. Dead air. We love dead air. We love to say you're... Okay, so what does he need to roll? I'll give you your pool.
Yeah.
Well, how does she want to stop herself?
If she can use her scimitars to wedge them someplace that to slow her descent.
I'm totally okay with that. Make a melee light check.
All right. What's melee again?
3 yellow and a green.
All right. So I thought. And what would be my difficulty?
Difficulty is going to be hard.
All right.
And since there are dire consequences for failure, I am going to upgrade.
How many? You had 2 story points already?
I had 2. I'm moving it over to 3.
Yep, we were
All
at
right.
2 and 2. Feel free to use one, man.
Yeah, I'll use one.
All right.
And upgrade that. And upgrade that. This one I take out. This one I have to take out. And I'll steal one more of your story points because I'm human as well.
Oh, dirty scoundrel!
Yes. All right. So there we go. We roll that. I end up with 2 successes.
You look down, and
Yeah.
there is just a pit of vipers below you.
Oh.
Vipers. Why did it have to be vipers? Oh well. He's
worth
hanging precariously over the edge of a pit.
Is the treasure worth it? Maybe.
All right. Next player slot.
The Javan, if you'd like. Go for it.
Sure. Well, with all these beetles, scarabs all crawling around and everything else, I'm going to do stone skin on myself. And
Very nice.
basically a barrier spell. Hasa Bashara. And I basically take one of the rocks that I had. I'm using that as the catalyst for my component casting.
Nice.
Very nice.
So you thought I was crazy for picking up all these rocks.
No, I knew what was going on. I've played with a very prolific component caster.
What? Who would that be?
4 successes, 3 advantages.
Ooh. He could cast that magic.
All right. You hold the rock in your hand, and when you crush that rock, it just immediately forms over your body just as a layer of stone. And you're to advantage. What would you like to do?
Let's see. I think I'll get back. I think I'll just get back a strain.
Okay. Well, it
Who cast it a lot?
invigorates you as it makes you feel stronger and more powerful, aka some strain.
Sweet.
All right. Taken.
All right, so I have this ticking time bomb on my chest. Is it hurting? Is it
Oh, no.
burrowing?
Oh no, it feels good. It feels powerful.
It does. All right. I will. I'm gonna shoot the darkness again.
All right.
You gotta get rid of these things.
Same
in there.
target?
Well, I already
killed that one.
Killed that
One or
one.
3?
You know what? I'll do 3. The one that actually dumped these on us.
Okay.
And that's still at long range. You said it took cover, and it's dark.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, it's going to be 3 setback dice again.
Yep. And I'll aim again. And this feels very important because I haven't heard anything from Zanana yet. So I'll spend a story point to upgrade.
Okay.
That look good? So 3 yellow, a green, a blue, 3 purple, and 3 red, or 3 black.
Yeah, I think so. You're fine.
Okay. Oh, there we go. 5 successes, 3 threats. 5 successes will be... Oh, 2 threats, sorry. 5 successes plus 8, 13 damage to that one.
Okay. It dissipates into nothingness, and your arrow shines with light as it hits it.
Nice.
Carries almost like it carries some sunlight in with it, and just and it just shatters into darkness.
Awesome! I shot the darkness, and it lit up. and then I have 2 threat left there, Tony. So
Yes. So your 2 threat. Take a wound.
okay then. So I felt powerful.
Uh-huh.
So is it a what's the word I'm looking for? A placebo?
Bleaching?
No, it's a placebo. I don't know.
No. Your arrow definitely struck true, and it is almost as if it carried sunlight with it.
Ooh, that doesn't suck. I like that. Okay.
All right.
That's it.
That is it. Round 3, final round.
Quick question: the stone sentries, is one of those over there or not?
Oh yeah, you know what? You could have, as a maneuver, directed that one to attack him. If you want.
Gotcha. Okay, but I don't think is there anybody left that we see right now?
Just the one that you previously blasted.
Gotcha.
He came out, he attacked Zanana, and then he went back to the stone statue. So your stone guardian is standing, looming above this thing now. He may attack it.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see, I got 3 brawn. Okay. Let's go.
And he's going to have the 3 setback dice, because as soon as he got within it, range of it, whoosh, all light disappeared.
Ooh, bummer.
Okay. 2 successes, 3 advantages.
Ooh.
All right.
So all the setback came up nothing.
So what is his
let's see.
damage that he did?
Let's see. I don't know if it's on the sheet here. Oh wait, here it is. Damage of 4. Crit 3 engaged. Yeah.
So 4 plus 2 successes, or 3.
Right.
3.
2 successes, 3 advantages.
All right. That is enough. So he just whoosh, reaches out and grabs this thing by the head and just crushes until it shatters into shadow.
Nice.
End of encounter, gentlemen.
Ooh. Zanana, where are you?
All right.
Yeah, I start running over there, squashing bugs with my stony feet.
Nice.
And most of the scarabs were nothing more than distraction. They could have damaged you, except for the one. Now, Chris Markham, do you happen to know what that is?
That would be a Curse Scarab.
That is from Terranoth Treasures 2.
Oh no, cursed. Oh.
Well, you see, the thing about descent items, especially, is there's a lot of those items that have kind of a good side and a bad side. Like they do something good, but take something from you at the same time. So there's a lot of items that are like that. So I kind of, when I was creating those items and porting them into Genesys, the same kind of thing happened. So
I used a little GM fiat to give you a description of it, but this thing is pretty cool. So the Curse Scarab, when the wearer fails to strike an opponent, the wearer takes 1 wound and damage, but simultaneously inflicts 2 wounds on his foe. When this occurs, the wings open up and a softly glow, and this activation does not require any effort on the wearer's part. Once activated, the wings remain open for the encounter, and the benefit cannot be used again until the wings close.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. That's a neat item. Too bad I didn't miss. Right?
Yeah, but I had to. A little GM fiat. The first time you used it, it seemed to make you feel more powerful, but then it hurt you at the same time.
Oh, that's cool, dude. I like it.
So well done, guys. And Chris, I love the Alkalim stuff that you've done. If you can't tell, you've added more flavor to a section of Terranoth that, my opinion, is just rife with adventure. To do those Arabian Nights style adventures and have Indiana Jones treasure hunting going on at the same time. I love the Alkalim stuff you've done. So thank you.
Oh, and if you go back and listen to the podcast where I was saying an actual spell name, that's actually Arabic for what it is.
Oh, really? Oh, well done, sir. That's pretty good, man.
So, Tafjir is detonate.
Oh,
cool.
For example.
Very nice. Well,
so and Hassa is stone. So Hassa Kafir is stone sentry, or Hassa Bashara is stone skin.
Nice.
Oh, that's
Very
awesome,
nice.
dude. That's great. I like bringing those things into the game. Well done.
All right.
Well done.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Advantageous Threats.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, man. All right, so let's end the night. Let's end this thing then.
All right, so that was our awesome latest interview show. Thank you, Chris, for joining us. As usual, look for us on social media, but we'll talk about that later. Sorry, I'm stepping on someone else's toes now.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. I just want to do a little shout out to our arch nemesis, the Wild Dice podcast. They're still around. They're still creating some great content, mostly for the Savage World system, but they cover some great topics as well. Anything to note, Chris, Holmey?
Yeah, I need to remind Tony to get Stefan a real phone so he doesn't have to talk through the tin can he's talking through right now. Because you sound like you got a tin can you're talking into, Stefan.
Sorry, it's my iPad.
That's cool. No, anyway, so yeah, our next show is going to be the Keyforge review show. So I'm looking
only
forward to
because Jeremy requested it.
Yes, exactly.
No, it was on the docket anyway. We made sure Stefan went out and got a PDF copy so we could do a review show.
At the very least, I got the PDF.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, and you can reach out to us, contact us like Jeremy did. You can either email us at findingthenarrativepodcast@gmail.com. You can reach out to Stefan and myself, Finding the Narrative on Facebook. We're over there a lot. Nerds International and Finding the Narrative are all on Mayway. And we have a Twitter presence, of course, at FTN_Genesys, and that is Stefan's baby. So talk to him over there. So, yeah. Chris, you got anything you want to pimp out?
Just basically, if you're interested in my stuff or any of the stuff that we kind of like played through there, just go to Drive-Thru RPG and just do a search on Chris Markham, and that way you'll see all my stuff, and you don't have to try to figure out what the names were or anything.
Yeah, I'll actually put a link to that in the show notes, and I'll actually have a link to your setting website. I think you have, so you can throw that in chat or email it to me, and we'll put that in there too.
Oh yeah, as soon as the show's over, I'm going and buying that Mars thing.
Yeah.
Oh, hell's to the yeah. Chris, it's great having you on, man.
Oh, it's great being on. Appreciate it.
Thanks for rolling some dice with us, man.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Buddy. And thank you for the hard work.
Oh, yeah.
You're welcome.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Looking forward to your next 5 that are be coming out like this week, or however many.
Probably just the one this week from Randall, and I have at least 2 that I want to really get out next month, so we'll see.
All right.
Awesome.
Do you have any final goodbye words you'd like to impart upon the world?
Just that was great playing with you guys. It was a really fun little adventure there. I really miss it. I really got to get my friends to get more online, and let's just do stuff online instead of us all driving an hour to get to each other's house. So
It has its advantages, VTTs. Yeah.
Nice.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, this is Tony saying, tell a great story and spend a story point.
And this is Stefan saying, dare to ask for those boost dice.
And this is Holmey, Chris, saying, remember the rule of cool. Shoot into the darkness whenever you can, and just have fun. Good night, everybody.
Au revoir.
Is that French, Tony?
Yeah, I did.
Very good.
All right. Bye.
Finding the Narrative, a Genesys RPG podcast, is not affiliated with or endorsed by any companies mentioned on this show. Any of the products mentioned on our show or appear on our website are the property and copyright of their respected owners. All items are used under fair use and educational and review purposes. All other items are the intellectual property of Finding the Narrative, a Genesys RPG podcast. Copyright 2020, all rights reserved.